digital arena, on the app, on your smartphone, on X, YouTube, and Facebook. The Sportscast. Expect the unexpected.
The Donut Bag presented by The Sportscast.
The Donut Bag, hosted by Joey Bag of Donuts. And here's your host, Joey Bag of Donuts.
Is it really this time already? Is it really hockey season? That's crazy. I swear last week was June, and now we're beginning hockey. Vince, how you doing?
Good. How are you? It is hard to believe. The preseason kind of flew by. I didn't even realize that last Friday was the last preseason game. I mean, I knew that the season started tomorrow, but I didn't realize that. I don't know. It just kind of all flew by.
Yeah, even the preseason didn't seem like it didn't go. It just went really fast. The big change, at least coming into the off season, was Mike Sullivan finally gone after 9 years? How many years was he Penguins coach?
I think it might have actually been 10.
It was this. I believe it was December of 2015. So I think you're right. It was almost 10 years, something like that.
9.5, technically.
9.5. So yeah. And Dan Muse is the coach now. What have you seen that's different from him between him and Sullivan?
It sounds like, and of course we'll see, but it sounds like he's more of a up-tempo, let's have up-tempo practices because we want to play up-tempo in the games. And it sounds like more accountability. And of course, when I say accountability, I don't mean the Carlsons and the Crosbys and the Malkins of the world, but the new guys. He'll be trying to hold accountable. But we've heard that before. We shall see.
Yeah. But wasn't Sullivan up tempo also?
He was. I'm just speaking. I heard Chris Letang, or I either heard or read that he noted the biggest thing that he noticed in the difference between the two coaches so far was the tempo of the practices.
Okay. So the practices are harder. So it's like, if you practice harder, then you're going to play harder. So maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. The big question is, besides that, what are they going to do this year? Are they even going to try? Are they going to tank? Are they going to try to make the playoffs, or do they just think that they're not? Do they just automatically resign that they're not going to make the playoffs? So they just assume this is a rebuilding year? Where are they going?
Any team captained by Sidney Crosby is not going to be allowed to tank.
Right.
It's just not in his nature. And when you look at the Eastern Conference, it's pretty bad. Even Florida, who has been to the Stanley Cup final the last couple of years, they have some pretty bad injuries. They've got Kachuk that's out, and they've got Barkov that's out. And those are, if you take those two out of the lineup, they all of a sudden become a kind of ordinary team. The Tampa Bays will be there and the Carolinas will be there, but the bottom part of the conference, anybody could get those 7 and 8 seeds. I'm not suggesting that the Penguins will, but I also don't think when you look at this roster, it's a bottom 5 roster in the NHL either. Unfortunately, I think they're kind of going to finish like 5 points out of a playoff spot, 6 points out of a playoff spot, and end up with like the 12th overall pick or something like that. And that's not going to help with any sort of rebuild, but there are moves that can be made, trades that can be made to remedy that.
Yeah, that's like a worst case scenario. It's like, if you're going to try to make the playoffs, then make the playoffs. If you're going to try to suck, then suck, but don't be in the middle. you're failing on both ends. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I've heard that this year is being described as we could begin to hope. We could begin to, the youngsters are coming. Are they? Or is the youth movement here?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the roster, it is a kind of strange mix. Like you have Koivunen on the top line, but that's only because Rust is hurt.
Yeah.
But then, like you look at the second line, and you have Anthony Mantha playing on the second line, who is kind of like a retread, given a second chance. He's kind of like this year's Jesse Puljujärvi. And then, you go down the lineup and, okay, Benjamin Kindle's here. That's good. But he's surrounded by Tommy Novak and Philip Tomasino. And, that the fourth line, okay, Connor Duer's here. But he's also got Blake Lizotte and Noah Chari on his line. So, I mean, there is a mix of young guys in here for sure. Harrison Brunick, it's great to see him here. But you look at the top two pairs, and it's Wotherspoon that they got from Boston, who actually I did like that signing, and Carlson's still here. And then you've got Ryan Shea and Chris Letang, and then Caleb Jones and Brunick on the third pair. So there is more of a mix of the young guys here. I would have liked this in more, but like Tristan Braz, where is he? Owen Pickering, where is he? Maybe they didn't do well enough in camp. I mean, maybe it is legitimately they just didn't do well enough in camp. But there's still a surprising amount of veteran guys on this team that I thought would have been traded away in the offseason. I'm not saying that I want the Bengals to trade Rust or Raquel, but I'm surprised they're still both here. I'm surprised Carlson's still here, though I understand why he's still here. That the contract is very hard to move. I'm more surprised that guys like Kevin Hayes are still here. I know he's hurt right now. And Noah Chari and Blake Lizotte. I'm surprised those guys are still here. I mean, Chari and Lizotte kind of serve a role on the fourth line and penalty kill, but I would have thought that some of those guys would have been traded away in the offseason to make way for some of the younger guys. But so there's more young guys than there were last year, but there's still, in my opinion, too many of these old veteran guys, still hanging around here.
Let's talk Rust and Raquel. You would think if they were going with a youth movement that both of them would be pretty good trade pieces that you could get something for, even if it's draft picks or something like that, but they're still here. My theory is that is Sidney Crosby putting his foot down. Those are his line mates. And this summer, we heard his agent make some interesting comments about maybe he should be traded or something like that. And of course, Crosby denied it. But there have been rumors about Crosby being traded for like the last 2 years now, at least. Do you think it's possible that Sidney Crosby might have said, "Listen, I don't care what you do. Don't mess with my line mates. Don't trade my guys," or maybe I don't want to be here?
Yeah, I think that definitely happened. He's Sidney Crosby, and he's still, I mean, even if you look at the 2 goals he scored in the preseason game on Friday, it just leaves you shaking your head like, how did he do that? And how is he still doing that at age 38? And that's his right. He's earned that to go to management and say, hey, you got to leave me with something here.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Rust and Raquel are still here. Now, I'm not necessarily sure that they would both be playing on a line with him, but I think that he wants both of those guys to stick around here. And I would, me personally, I would like that they keep Rust around. He's holdover from the Stanley Cup years, and I think you need guys like that around. I'm not saying you need to keep Letang, Malkin, for another 5 years or something like that, but he is kind of that link to success, and he's kind of molded like a true Penguins player, like the kind of guy that you want around. Maybe he could be a captain when Sidney Crosby's not here anymore, though he's not that much younger than Crosby. But, I don't think you want to do a complete teardown like the Sharks have done, because, boy, they had some rough seasons the past couple seasons. And even with Macklin Celebrini last year, they still had a rough season. So I don't think you want to go that route, especially when you have Sidney Crosby on your roster. But I think that some of these veteran guys do need to go, especially the guys that are playing roles on the third and fourth line. Like let the young guys get in here and play in those roles.
Yeah. It is scary when you see teams rebuild. San Jose, Montreal, Detroit, Chicago, Buffalo have been rebuilding for like the last 30 years, and it with no hope in sight.
No,
it's scary. So when you say, "Oh yeah, bring in the youth movement, just trade everyone," it's like, "Oh God, I don't want to end up like those teams." So that's a little scary. Then you see a team like the Washington, who like has one bad year and then they're right back to being good again. So
yeah, that was bizarre the way Washington just turned it around so quickly. I think that they took advantage of some guys on long-term injured reserve and were able to work some magic there. I don't expect that they're going to be as good as they were last year. They're a good team, and I think they're a playoff team, but I don't think they're going to win the division.
Yeah, that was just weird. that was just weird how quickly they bounced back up. Yeah, there's been some questionable decisions about the roster. There's two kids that have made the team now, albeit probably temporary, but Harrison Brunick and Benjamin Kindle, wasn't he a draft pick from this year?
Yes.
Wow.
That one surprises me for sure, which really makes me believe that he's just going to stick around for the 10 games and then be sent back down. And I think there's a rule now where you could actually have one teenager on your AHL team. So maybe he goes back to the AHL.
I don't know if that rule is in effect yet.
Okay.
I think maybe next year that rule is in effect, which is ridiculous that it's like, well, you're either with the big club or you're down in almost the equivalent of college or high school or something like that.
Yeah, that's the tough part about that. I mean, these guys are good enough to make an opening day NHL roster. They're probably not going to learn much more by playing in juniors, but there's no other place for them to go. So,
in fact, it might retard their growth.
Yes,
being too good for a league. But yeah, I'm surprised about Kindle too. But Brunick, all I've heard for like the last year or so is this dude is ready. He might stick around, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that he had a great camp, and he's. I know he's on the third pair right now, but I think that he's going to start to get some big time minutes just to see what he can do. He was the number 44 overall pick this year, and he's already up here. And I mean, by all accounts, everything I read, everything I hear, looks like he fits right in. Fit right into camp, had a great camp, and it seems like he fits right in. Now, the real games start on Tuesday, so we'll see. But I don't think that it's going to do him any good to play 5 minutes a night. I know it's a little bit different for defensemen. On a third pair, but playing 5 or 6 minutes a night isn't going to help. I want to see him play minutes, see what he can do, and if he does well, keep him here. Like you said, it could stun his development by sending him back to juniors. It seems like he's ready to move on from juniors, so let's see what he can do. Now, if he goes out there and plays 10 minutes a night and he looks lost, then okay. Experiment gone wrong, and back to juniors you go. But I don't know. I've just read so many positive things about him, and I'm really interested to see how he does in this first week or so here.
He just seems special. He just seems like, yeah, something special. His problem is he's on the right side and he's stuck behind Carlson and Letang. Like all the top defensemen are on the right side on this team,
Yeah.
and on the left side is a little lacking. So, I mean, I don't know who the heck Caleb Jones is. Where did he come from?
Yeah, I don't know much about him either. I just they must have seen something in him that they like. I mean, it's funny on the website, that I use to look at line combinations and stuff. He doesn't even have a number yet. It's just a blank jersey.
I think we're looking at the same website because I'm seeing the same thing. Everybody has a number except for him.
Yeah. I mean, he has some NHL experience. He's 27 years old, but I mean, other than that, I don't know really much about him. And I mean, I know St. Ivany is hurt. So, he might be taking St. Ivany's spot for right now, but yeah, that's I'm not sure how he kind of slotted into to that bottom six pair. I think mostly because of injury. I don't think that he's really like a long-term solution for that bottom three. I mean, even if he does stick with the club, he'll probably be a healthy scratch on most nights and everybody's healthy.
Owen Pickering did not make the team as of right now.
Yeah.
Is that concerning? I heard he didn't have the greatest camp. I mean, isn't he a first-round pick? Is it too early to call him a bust?
It's very concerning. He should have probably been on this roster playing regular minutes last year, let alone not this year. That's very concerning to me. But like you said, by a lot of accounts, he didn't have a great training camp, which is really concerning because you would think he would really be looking himself in the mirror at this point going, okay, why am I not on this roster? This team is rebuilding and I'm supposed to be part of the future and I'm not on the roster. So I need to do something different. And I'm sure that the Penguins management told him something similar at the end of the season last year. So yeah, that is definitely concerning. I don't know, what exactly they're looking for from him that they aren't seeing, other than just a more well-rounded game, I'm thinking. But yeah, I'm not shocked that he's not on the roster because of the reports that I read that he didn't have a good training camp, but I am shocked that he isn't on the roster because of his status and where he was drafted.
Right. That's a little scary. With the goaltenders, you have Tristan Jarry and Artur Shilov. Is that how you say that?
Yep.
And they're basically placeholders for Morozov. Do you think that's the right move? I mean, Morozov's only 21. Do you think that's the right move to keep him down in the AHL and just let the Jarry and Shilov just? I mean, I haven't heard good things. I haven't heard good things about Jarry, but then we already know what we get from Jarry, and it's not good. Yeah. So, should they bring him up or just let him stay down there and get better?
Yeah, I think it's the right move keeping him in Wilkes-Barre. I think, I look at these defensive pairings and I think there's going to be a lot of goals and shots against, unfortunately, between just kind of young guys. And we know the defensive lapses that Letang and Carlson have in the past. So I think you let him go down to Wilkes-Barre, have a whole season down there, maybe call him up at the end of the year, or if there's an injury, maybe. But I'd like to see kind of a 50-50 split between Jarry and Shilovs. I mean, Shilovs is actually a very good goaltender. He led Abbotsford, Vancouver's AHL team, to the Calder Cup championship last year. There's just no room for him in Vancouver. They have 2 goalies signed, and they had to move him. And the Penguins were, I'm going to say, lucky enough to get him. We'll see how he plays. But I think he's going to push Jarry. I think just out of veteran respect, they'll let Jarry get the start tomorrow and probably get the majority of the play in the first couple of weeks here. But I think Shelovs can definitely push him to be the starter and get the majority of the starts.
Where does Bloomquist fall in all of this? I know he's hurt right now, but when he's not hurt, where is he? Is he going to be in the AHL or is he going to be up with the Penguins?
Yeah, that's an interesting one because he's a young guy himself, but he didn't really acquit himself well when he got in games last year. He had a pretty rough stretch of games when he was up here last season. So I think they want to have him down in Wilkes-Barre as the backup to Marashov, which is kind of a weird combination to have two young guys like that, one starter, one as the backup. It's kind of the hand that the Penguins are dealt right now, because I do think that they see Shelovs as a number, like an NHL caliber goalie, and I don't think they want him down in Wilkes-Barre because they want him to play, and I think that's why he's up here. And I think Bloomquist will be kind of not splitting time with Marashov, but he'll be the kind of the backup down there. Probably getting one out of every 3 games or something like that.
Do you think Carlson will be traded, or Letang for that matter?
I think Letang is more tradable, but I think honestly with Letang, I think the only place that he would want to or even consider to be traded would be Montreal.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, I don't think that their rebuild is much further along than the Penguins is. They do have some good young guys, don't get me wrong. But, with these guys with their no trade clauses, I mean, he could veto any trade. And, unless it was to there, or maybe, like an Edmonton or a Florida where, they have a chance to get to the Stanley Cup. But I do think it means a lot to these guys, Malkin and Letang and Crosby, to play their whole career with one team. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think that it does mean something to them. As far as Carlson goes, I mean, never say never, but I think the Penguins would have to eat a lot of that contract to move him. And I just don't see a team that can take on the majority of that salary that is a contender. There's some teams like in the Penguins situation that could probably take that on, but I don't think that would make much sense for them or the Penguins. So if they are able to move him, it's probably not going to be until the trade deadline. But man, that's such a big contract, $11 million. That's going to be really tough to move. And we'll see. I mean, I don't think his defensive play can be any worse than it was last season. So there's only room to grow, or only how's the saying go? Only one way to move, and it's up, because
right
it's at the bottom as far as expectations go.
I'm trying to see when his contract is up. Basically until next year.
Yeah, I think one more after this year.
Yeah, we got one more. Yeah, one more year of $11.5 million cap hits, and then he's done. I mean, I've heard he's had a good camp. Maybe with the new coach, maybe he'll decide to play some defense, or maybe it's kind of been a disaster.
It is one of the most disastrous moves that looked so good on paper when it happened. This isn't like trading Marcus Naslund for Alex Stoyanov. Like, that was immediately like, what is happening here? This right. is, when this happened, this was like, wow, we really did just trade all of our bad players to get the guy who just won the Norris Trophy.
Yeah.
And it has not gone, like, I couldn't imagine this going any more poorly than it has.
I'll tell you what's gone more poorly. Ryan Graves.
Oh, forgot about that one.
Yeah. Talk about another. I mean, that's at least Carlson's on the main club. Yeah. at least he's still with the Penguins. Graves got put on waivers and it will play for AHL this year. My goodness, I just don't get it. I don't get how somebody could be that bad who used to be pretty good. Like, just what a disaster.
I mean, he was a serviceable player for the Avalanche and the Devils. Like when they signed him, the same thing. I thought, okay, this is a solid guy. You could, your fourth defenseman, maybe your fifth defenseman, and he has been so bad. I think it was like the 78th game last year where he finally got his first point. And I know he's not an offensive defenseman, but I mean, you just stumble into a point at some point when you play every night. He's another guy though. Like, I mean, he has to know how bad he was last season, and you would have thought he would have come to camp like, okay, I'm here to prove myself. I'm here to
new chance, new start,
like fresh start, fresh coach. And he, by all accounts, had a terrible camp. I mean, obviously he did. He got put on waivers.
Wow.
I mean, talk about one of the worst contracts in team history. I mean, he's still got this season plus 3 more left on that deal. And I mean, unless there's a plethora of injuries, I don't think he's going to be somebody that he gets called back up here to play. I mean, I think he's just going to be buried down in Wilkes-Barre for the next 4 years.
I don't care if everyone's hurt. He's still not going to come back up.
No,
here. He's just not worth it.
The one silver lining of this is it really does show that they're committed to rebuilding in a kind of youth movement, because in past seasons they would have kept him here, veteran respect. Maybe
right.
I'm just saying in general, like not him in particular, but the fact that they actually put him on waivers and he's going to wallow it down in Wilkes-Barre does give me hope that they're really all in on this rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah. You would have thought just by that contract alone, we have to keep him up. And I think maybe that happened under Sullivan. I mean,
yes.
Most teams would, and no, they're just like, oh, I want nothing to do with this guy, which is just like
he should have been put on waivers in the middle of last season.
Oh, or even sooner. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who down in the minors do you think might be called up soon? I mean, I hear about Tristan Braz and Avery Hayes. Are they close to coming up?
I think that the next 2 people that you'll see up here are going to be Tristan Braz and Owen Pickering. Regardless if Pickering didn't have a good camp or not, they want to see what he could do up here, even though I know he's had cups of coffee up here, but I think those are your next 2 that you're going to see up here. And they're both one injury away at the big club of being back up here, I think. And hopefully they take advantage of, the situation when they get called up, or, if Brunick or the name's escaping me right now. The other teenager, if they get sent back sorry, I just had a mind cramp there. If either of them get sent back to their junior teams, then I think you might see one or both of them get brought back up here.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Malkin's last year, right? Hopefully.
I would like to think so. And nothing against Malkin. I mean, he's one of my all-time favorite players. I just love the passion that he plays with. But I mean, he's clearly lost a step. And, this is the last year of his contract. But I also would not be shocked if he wanted to play one more season, if the Penguins gave him a 1-year deal, because it would match up with it won't match up with, but because if Crosby wants him to play and Malkin still wants to play, they'll probably say, okay, we'll give you 1 more year, but maybe he's on the 3rd line now, or, something like that. I think that they just feel like with Letang and Malkin that they owe them whatever they want, and right or wrong, that could be up for debate. They they're probably gonna allow it if Malkin wants to play for one more year, and if he has a respectable season. I mean, if he scores 3 goals and plays 82 games, they're gonna say sorry, see you later. But if he has like a 70-point season or something like that, averaging almost a point a game or something like that, then maybe they do bring him back.
It is insane that 3 people can play together for on the same team for like 20 years. It's insane. Like you just never it's never happened in any sports anywhere, I don't think.
I just wrote an article on my website. It's unprecedented. The closest trio that to Crosby, Malkin, and Letang at 20 years is the Yankees. They had Jeter, Rivera, and Jorge Posada. They played 17 seasons together. So they've blown the record out of the water at 20 seasons. It's crazy, some of the stats. You could go to vincecom.com and check it out. But some of the stats are crazy. The 3 of them, like the goals that they've all figured in on each other's goals and things like that. And obviously the results are there too. They've won 3 Stanley Cups, gone to 4 finals, MVP awards, Conn Smythe trophies. I mean, it's obviously not been great the last 3 seasons, not making the playoffs. But when you look at the whole body of work, it is pretty amazing. If you look at overall all-time points leaders in playoff points, I think Crosby's 6th and Malkin is 14th. And they haven't made the playoffs in the last 3 seasons.
Right.
So, that's a pretty amazing stat. And there's just, I could have probably written, 2,000 words on the crazy stats that they've put together over the past 19 seasons going into the 20th season. But it is unprecedented to see that.
They so lucked out. I mean, what a draft. That draft with Ovechkin and Malkin, and to be able to get Malkin. Oh gosh, I just remembered. Didn't they have to sneak him out of Russia or something like that, or sneak him out of Finland? Or
yeah, they snuck him out of Russia through Finland, I think.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
different times back then.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's just an amazing run that we'll never see again.
No.
And that's why, Malkin, clearly his run is nearing an end. Maybe Letang can play for a little bit more, but we could see him declining. But Crosby has he's not declining at all. And, it's crazy. Can you see Crosby playing like another, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years?
I think Crosby's kind of like the Tom Brady of hockey. I could see him playing until he's like 45. He just doesn't know anything else other than hockey at a top level. And it's crazy to me. I feel like he's actually getting better offensively as he gets older. Like, you watch some of the things that he's doing and the goals that he's scoring, and I'm like, he scores goals like that when he was like 23, but he's still like batting pucks out of the air and tipping 100-mile-per-hour shots under the crossbar. And normally those things just kind of fade the older you get. And maybe he's not the 200-foot player that he used to be, just as far as speed goes. But as far as his offensive skills go and his passion to win and his drive to be the best, it's still the same as it was 10 years ago.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And that's it seems like that's all he does is live, breathe, and eat hockey and training. And that's very much the Tom Brady comparison is perfect, because it's like there's no drop off. It's amazing.
Yeah, he could literally be here captaining this team when they get back into like Stanley Cup contention. That would not shock me at all.
the big sentimental let's win another cup for Sid thing. I would love to see that. I'm when we first got on, he's like, "Are you excited about the season?" I'm like, "Nope." I mean, I don't know. I'm afraid of losing and sucking, but what do we have to complain about? Penguins fans are so spoiled. If they never win again, I'll still be happy. I lived through 5 cups. I'm, and this amazing run of like what they were in the playoffs every year for 15 years or something like that.
I
It's
think
like
it was 17. Yeah.
My goodness, it's just amazing. So, yay, yeah. If we have to go through some bad years, so be it. And with their luck, maybe even if they did bad, they probably would luck into that McKenna guy or something that, which would anger everyone. It's like you ended up with Lemieux, then you ended up with Crosby. Now you get someone else. Like everybody will say it's fixed.
I would. You would that sound on the east side of the state. That would be people's heads exploding. If they somehow got McKenna in this year's draft.
It's just funny how a team could get, every year there's a team that ends up with the number 1 draft pick, and sometimes that number 1 draft pick is a Crosby or some generational player, but a lot of years it's just somebody that's either just okay or just a massive bust or something like that. It's just all luck.
It's all luck. I mean, but by all accounts, McKenna is kind of a generational type talent. And he's playing it over at Penn State, so you'd probably be able to catch a lot of his games either in person or on TV. I know the first 2 games are on the NHL Network this weekend, and I think they'll probably be picking up a lot of his games throughout the season.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool that he's nearby. You could just go over to State College and check out one of the greats. It's like when what's his face played for Erie.
Yeah, Connor McDavid was.
Connor McDavid played for Erie, and you could just go up and see him. And I remember, friends of mine, they would just go. It's like, hey, I got Connor McDavid's that autograph. Maybe he'll be good someday. It's like, yeah, it's amazing. It's so cool. Who do you think? What teams do you think will be really good this year? Who's a cup contender?
Obviously you can't go against Florida. I think that even with the 2 injuries, they're still a pretty good team. But I don't think they're going to dominate like they have in the past. I think Tampa is kind of retooled. I think that they're going to be right there. Carolina's always there. They just seem to, have great regular season, and then they bow out in the playoffs. The Rangers are going to be interesting. They have talent on that team, and they have probably the best goaltender in the Eastern Conference, but they just can't seem to put it together. I don't know if Sullivan can be that guy to get that all together up there, but they could be a good team. And then there's the kind of those teams in the middle, like the Washingtons, the New Jerseys. Could the Penguins be there? Maybe, probably not. But I think most of the best teams are in the West. The Western Conference is tough with Colorado and Edmonton and Dallas and Winnipeg. Don't forget about Vegas, of course. Getting out of the West is a tall task. Getting out of the East, that 8-7 seeds in the East this year, they're probably not going to be great teams.
The McDavid situation is really interesting. He just signed a contract extension, but only for 2 years. Yeah. It's like he's telling them, it's like, hey guys, you either get this, you either figure this out, or I'm out of here. That's just really interesting. I mean, he is such an amazing player, but I think it just goes to show how lucky the Penguins have been. They've had, it's not just enough to have a generational talent. You need other players on the team to be good. You need a good team to win a cup. And as good as he is, he can't do it alone.
Yeah. It's interesting. He took a page out of the Crosby book, and he took less money. He signed for the same amount of money in his current contract for 2 more years. He could have easily, when I saw Kirill Kaprizov got $17 million a year, I thought, what is McDavid going to sign for? I was thinking 20. 19, 20. And when I saw that he signed for just 12.5, easy for me to say. Um, he's basically saying to management, like, hey, I took a pay cut here. He's not even the highest paid player on his team. I think Draisaitl makes 14. And so he's saying to management, like, look, I took a break here. The salary cap's going up. Use that money to go out and build this team to win a Stanley Cup. And more than likely, they need to go out and get another goaltender. I don't trust their goaltending. I think they lost some glue guys too. They lost Evander Kane. They lost Corey Perry. Say what you will about those guys, but they make it hard to play against the Oilers, and they lost both those guys. So we'll see. But that was really interesting that he only signed a 2-year deal. I kind of expected that because I think he's giving himself an out. Like, hey, because that'll be his 13th season, I think, in Edmonton after that contract's up. And hey, if you haven't won somewhere after 13 seasons, maybe it's time to try somewhere else.
I mean, I've never been to Edmonton, but it doesn't exactly sound like Miami or anything like that. Like,
no.
I mean, he's 28 now, so in theory, he'd be leaving by when he's 30 or 31. So, you only have so long in this, so
Right.
We'll see. I mean, there is president Gretzky got traded.
Ray Bork got traded.
Oh God. That just sickens me. He just clearly just wanted to get a cup. It's like, oh man, that was just bad. So the Penguins open the season at New York Rangers, the Mike Sullivan New York Rangers. I know they have, a more talented team, but I think the emotions are going to run high. I know Sullivan is going to want to beat the Penguins really bad, and I think the Penguins are going to want to beat him really bad. So that could be interesting how that goes.
Yeah, I just talking to people and hearing and reading things that people think the Penguins are going to get blown out of the water more. I don't think so. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but they, guys like Malkin, Crosby, Letang, even Carlson. They want to beat their old coach. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I don't think there's any ill will there, but I think that they want to beat their old coach, and that will definitely serve as some motivation tomorrow on Tuesday night.
I mean, they got Sullivan, but I mean, I don't know how many other changes they made, and who knows how long it'll take to adapt to his system and stuff. So maybe they'll, start out slow or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And they've had success against Shesterkin in that. I think that he's kind of fragile. He didn't have a great season last year, even though, hard to deny his talent for sure. But I think that he's a little fragile right now. And that, by a lot of accounts, that locker room was kind of a mess last year with the Rangers. And so, like you said, it could take a while for that team to gel. So they might be right for the picking tomorrow. That being said, I also wouldn't be surprised if they lost 7-1. So it's hard to say, but I do think it will be a close game.
Honestly, I think 7-1 would either way would be a good score, because I think one way or the other, I think it's going to be a blowout, because the one team is really going to want to stick it to the other. So, and I mean, there's no love lost between the Penguins and Rangers anyway. I'm still mad that Graves broke Mario's wrist in the '92 playoffs, so I'm still not over that.
Yeah, there's a lot of history there, and then they do it all again on Saturday when the Rangers come here.
Oh, interesting. All right. So where can people find you, follow you, and get more of your work?
Sure. People can find me on Twitter at PGHVC, or they could go to my website, vincecom.com.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much. It is just so exciting to be talking. I just love talking about like actual games and regular
Yes.
seasons and not theoreticals and all the crap in the off season. We just have to wait for to get to the actual games. I'm so excited to actually
You
hear.
can only write so many previews.
That's right.
I'm excited to get this season started.
That's right. All right. Hey, thanks so much.
All right. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you.